Make sure to check out the One Football app. It's your one-stop shop to all your latest football news, stats, lineups, team news, transfer rumours. Everything is covered on the One Football app. So make sure you click the link in the description below to download the One Football app.
Hey guys, welcome back to WD18, the Watford fans channel. I'm back for another preview. This time the Golden Boys kickstart their FA Cup campaign away at the Laithwaite Community Stadium on Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock to face Woking. Before we get on to this preview, of course, as always, let's have a bit of a recap in regards to our last match, which was a 3-3 entertaining 3-3 draw away at Bournemouth. A game that was actually, I left feeling quite frustrated, really, having watched it, because we were 2-0 up, we were 3-2 up, and really, having taken the lead twice, we really should have seen the game out. I think being 2-0 up, my idea of the game was that we would have slowed it down up until at least half-time, but that just doesn't seem to happen, really. We were far too open once we got that second goal. Some of the defending was questionable, I think, especially for Bournemouth's third goal. And I mean, Fraser has all the time in the world to slot that in. Non-existent right back, non-existent centre backs there, really, for us. And ultimately, a point gained, I think, for Bournemouth, but I would say 2 points lost for us. 2 points dropped, really, for us. As I said on the night, Ben Foster, Troy Deeney were our two standout players, especially Troy, bullying the centre-backs, getting 2 goals, 2 very well-taken goals. Looked like the old Troy, the old Championship 15-16 version of Troy, and Foster quite simply saved us, really. We maybe had a couple of shots on target, I think, in that second half, but possession-wise, it was all Bournemouth in that second half, really, and Foster pulled off a couple of great saves, one notable one, header from Callum Wilson. Really was top draw from Super Ben. And now ultimately we move on from that game, into the FA Cup. A relatively tough game, I think, on paper. I think there are people out there that are saying, we'll whitewash them and all that. Well, I don't know. We will get on to Woking in just a little while, but in regards to Watford, let's have a little chat about team news. Nothing really confirmed at the moment. The club are still waiting on the fitness of Christian Kabasele. There's been no further news on that. I'm not even sure if he's out of hospital yet. One bit of big team news, though, is that Sebastian Prodal could make his comeback from a knee injury. I think that's crucial. I think the reason why that's been mentioned is because Prodal will play some part in the game. It wouldn't surprise me if players like Troy, Etienne Capoue, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Jose Holebas are maybe rested for the game. Of course, having had a pretty busy festive period, of course, they did get rested last Saturday. A few of those players, but it depends on how Javi kind of approaches this game, and the way in which he would approach most of these games is by looking at the form of our opposition. Now, Woking are doing incredibly well in the National League South. They're on a 4-game unbeaten run. Of course, they beat Hampton and Richmond away 3-0 on New Year's Day. They picked up wins against Hampton and Richmond at home, Eastbourne Borough, Billericay Town away, so they're in a very good run of form. Of course, their manager, Alan Dowson, relatively unknown to a lot of people, but I'm sure a lot of you will have heard of Woking's assistant manager, who is, of course, Sky Sports commentator Martin Tyler, a man who has spoken very complimentarily as well about Watford this season. From their perspective, from Woking's perspective, it's going to be a great occasion for them. They've sold out the Laithwaite Community Stadium, I think 5,700, I think it might be. Seats, standing, all taken up for them. I remember seeing the scenes there when the draw was actually made. Fans, few of the players, I think, very, very confident that they may looked very happy anyway. And a couple of Woking fans I've spoken to in the run-up to this game feel relatively confident that they can maybe try and nick something from the game. And why wouldn't be? You know what? They're flying high in the league at the moment, and the cup, as they say, is always a break from league form. And it's going to be a great day for Woking, and fair play to them as well. The game's been live on BT Sport. They've got one big bit of team news, however, and their missing playmaker Max Kretschmar, I should say that properly, may well be out of the game through injury. Their two main players, though, Jamal Loza and Jake Hyde, were actually rested for the midweek game. You'd expect them to return. This is a big deal, though, for them. They're aiming, of course, to make the 4th round for only the 2nd time in their history. It is, of course, the first time in 40 years that Watford have actually played a side in non-league, that are non-league in the FA Cup. And And ultimately that kind of presents a few problems for us because I think we're expected to kind of win this game relatively easily. But never underestimate the non-league sides. Never underestimate the power of their support. It's going to be loud. It's going to be quite intimidating as well. I'm not sure how many of our players, we look at some of our lads, some of which played internationally. I'm not sure how many of them would have been in an atmosphere similar to that kind of like that non-league kind of atmosphere. It's something that could well play a part. So in regards, of course, to a prediction, I think Watford will get the win. It's not going to be a whitewash, though, in my opinion. I think it'll be one of those routine wins. Ultimately, from our perspective, it's about going out there, getting the win, getting through to the next round. I've said this before. I've said this, I think, on a podcast, and if I haven't, I've definitely said it on a fan cam or two. I want us to have a cup run this year. I think it's imperative that we do. Javi's got a good squad. I think he'll hopefully be targeting a cup run of some sort. It's about negotiating these early rounds and then really kind of seeing what's out there. I think the third and fourth round for me are possibly even the fifth round as well. All about just getting through them and then kind of, digging deep, head down, digging deep, getting the wins in the first couple of rounds, getting your head up and seeing what's then around, seeing who the other teams are left. And ultimately, look, I think the draw's been relatively kind to us in this round. Woking are in the National League South, as I say, they are flying high, but the blow of Max Kretschmar being out could be a big deal for them, actually. It could be a very big deal for them, but we'll see how things go. Ultimately, though, I'm expecting it to be a relatively lively game. I'm sure Woking will give as good as they give. Cup run imperative. Let's hope Javi and the lads deliver. Thank you very much for watching this preview. Jacob will be at the game on Sunday. I will be back on the Insta Live and doing a stream for the game. Hopefully give you some nice positive full-time reaction as well. And, as always, come on you Orns.